Welcome back. Now, in the previous episode, we're talking about man and family, man's relationship with family. We talked about a few things, and we're about talking about the ethics that is important to a man in building a successful family. But at that point, our producers told us that we had run out of time and we had to go. But we're back again now, and we want to go into this topic and give you a good feel of it so that we can all share from one another and also with you. We're hoping to get more questions. We got some questions that we're going to be dealing with today. We're hoping to get more questions from you, getting your views on this topic. We know a lot of people have one or two things to say about it, and we would like to hear it. Thank you once again for your support. Thank you for all that you do to ensure that this program is well viewed and is loved the way you love. We can't have enough of the love that you're giving. Thank you very much. So I'm going to pass the table now to my brothers on set. They'll introduce themselves again, then we'll go right into the topic. Thank you.
I'm Tommy. You saw me last week. It was my debut. Now I think I'm ready.
And I'm Henry. You know what I do. I'm here. It's interesting being here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. So we're going to be going through. So we talked about man and how a man should build a successful family.
Yeah.
Now, still on that same topic, but now we're talking about important ethic for a man. What are those things that are important to a man in terms of ethics to build a successful family? Let me go with you first, Tommy.
Okay. Let me start by saying, the family.
Mm.
The family is the foundation.
Of the society.
Yeah, you're correct.
Mhm.
The family is the foundation by which moral values are built. The family is the foundation where moral values are built. And what are those moral values? What are those moral values? Truth, kindness, love, and amongst other things. But those three things are very important. So for a man to have, what are the ethics, as you rightly said, what are the ethics? The man should be able to transfer truth into his family. The man should be able to transfer kindness into his family. The man should be able to transfer love into his family. Without those three things, there will be chaos. Even the society will not be at peace.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it is very important that those ethics are right there, because if they are not there, you have a destabilized home. A home that is destabilized will also produce a rowdy society, a dysfunctional society. When you have all this, you have a functioning family. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I do. Sam, let me just put this out there. Do people still teach patience in family these days?
You don't teach patience.
Hold on. With what we see around,
Do you teach patience?
you can.
You don't teach patience. It is shown.
You can teach it. You can tell someone you need to be patient.
If your boy sees that at every point in time, you are always tensed up.
When you say
I'm coming.
okay,
If your boy, your son, or your daughter sees that you are a very tensed man, whenever you come in, you are always agitated. Your blood is always boiling. Even if you tell the child to be patient, he or she will not be, because you are a man that whenever you come in, even your attitude does not show that you are patient. So you can only show the patience. You show it, they get it.
I don't know why you have issues with the word teach. You just said the same thing.
Yes, I agree with you.
You don't need to say
You just
it.
have the word teach. No.
It's just your interpretation.
You see, nothing is cast in stone.
Yeah.
In certain areas,
In teaching,
especially
it
with
does not have
family.
to
Yes,
be.
people learn differently. Some
Yes.
people study at night before they can retain information. Some people play and study. So don't have problem with the word teach. People learn differently, especially kids. So you just, as a father, that is one thing you need to look out for in your family.
Yeah.
You must know your child or your son or your daughter's strength in retaining information. Like when we're in school, some people go to the library before they can assimilate. Some people at night, that's when they can assimilate. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or retain information.
Yes, you have different.
While you have the weird people, and I belong to that class.
You're not weird.
I don't no. Some people see it as weird. I can talk to you like this, and I'm learning. Do you understand? I'm learning. I'm as in seriously learning. Then when I go to my books, I just do. It's like it's as though I'm playing. Someone has actually, more than one person has said that to me before. But that's my best way. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so
we do.
it's just what I'm trying to bring out the
Yeah,
fact that we said the same
Yeah,
thing.
but truly, you guys said the same thing. And
Yeah.
I like the way you started, and I'm really grateful that we started with you, because the 3 pointers that you started with are really foundational. You know, talking about truth, talking about care, right, and talking about love. Now, those
So let's not run away from what I said.
Which is
Patience.
Patience.
yeah, patience.
I was trying
yeah.
to get us somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, but,
By
you know,
that-
it's easy to have patience for those that you love and care for. It's easy to have patience with them, right?
Patience, long
Yeah, yeah.
suffering.
Yeah,
I find out that, sorry, permit me. I found out that in today's society, if you are patient, it's like people kind of laugh at you. If you are long suffering, they feel like you are stupid or you're a fool. But it is not correct.
Yeah, but you see,
it's not true.
It's not, but it's difficult
not.
to know that it's not true for those kind of people, and I'll explain why. Now, to add to the 3 things that you mentioned is respect for authority. This is one ethic that I think a lot of people need to teach in the family, respect for authority. Let me give you an instance. My family where I grew up in a big family. Big family in the sense that not just, that's how it used to be back in the day, where not just the kids that your parents gave birth to biological that stays in the house. You had
Yes.
cousins
Kind of,
and all
yeah.
that. There's usually a full house.
Aunties and uncles that
Aunties
live
and
with
uncles
you.
and all that. So in the house where I grew up in, we're about 6 boys
Okay.
that grew up within the same age group, right? For some of us, we're years ahead of the others. For some, we're just a few months. But we're raised up in the house such that the native greeting that we had in the house, it wasn't good morning that we normally would greet. We greet with a native dialect, right? So we're raised up in such a way that if one was a day older than you, didn't matter the person's height, complexion, or whatever, the fact that that person is as much as a day older than you, when you woke up from bed, it was a duty that you greeted everybody older than you. It was demanded. It was not because you like it, you don't like it. Nobody asked you of your opinion.
Yeah.
So have you guys greeted me today?
Yeah, but we did. Now when we say we're the
Come
oldest
on,
guy,
yeah,
we
the
gave
oldest
you,
guy.
we gave you honor.
So let me just put that out there. You know, when men sit down, they like talk about their age. I don't know. We like to feel like, oh, I'm still younger, he's older. So I just digressed.
I know.
Anyway,
That was just wait for you
please,
to finish.
just continue. Don't
Please,
mind me.
Harry can be like this, and for those of us that have been on the show long enough, we know that this is Harry for you. We are used to him. We can't throw him away. We love him like this. We are very loving and caring.
You better
people.
love me.
So this is it. But you see, we had that growing up where
Yeah.
you walk in, you would always greet the person, even if the person was a day older. So there, looking at it now, I could tell that was our parents' way of instilling respect for authority.
Discipline and
respect for authority.
yeah.
So yes, you love. Yes, you cared. Yes. What's the other one that you talked about? You talked about love, care, kindness, right?
yeah.
So you're
Being
kind,
kind
you
to
love.
others.
Yeah, truth.
Being
Thank you.
truthful.
You know, you're truthful because then a lot of beating that you get if you lie about something. It didn't matter what it was. What you owe first is to say the truth. Whatever consequence that comes with it, we'll deal with that later. But start with saying the truth. No matter what, you must say the truth. You must be respectful, which has to do with authority, right? You have to be kind. You don't talk roughly to people. You don't treat people without dignity. You treat people with value. Yes.
So that
Then
brings you
must
back
love.
to the reason why I asked that word.
Patience.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Here's the thing.
I
Hold
agree,
on.
but
No,
I'm
here's
just
the
saying
thing. I'm
it's
trying
an-
to look at society and families today.
And I'll explain.
Real time.
We'll get there.
Real time.
We'll
Because
get there.
we hear a lot of things happening. We see kids that are between teenage years and adolescents, and they come home. They can go home with things that are bigger than them, in quotes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You're
Henry,
not
permit me.
working, you're still a student,
Yeah.
but you can drive a car, a big car for that matter, to your home, to your house,
then
and nobody
your dad or
is
your mom
asking
stop
questions.
Henry, put a pen on that. We'll come to that. We have to go
All
on
right.
break right now. When we
Oh.
return, we'll talk more about it.
Oh.
So we're going on a break, a short break right now, and we'll be back shortly. Then we'll go into some of the things that Henry is talking about. But don't forget, we're dealing with ethics that helps a man create a successful family. Then from there, we'll talk about other elements too that helps a man create a successful family. Thank you. See you on the other side.
My name is Brother Armstrong Agasa from Christ Embassy, North Central Zone 1, Jos. And I've been married for 5 years plus now. To build a successful family depends on God's word. A man can build a successful family based on God's word. And it starts with understanding the purpose for marriage and understanding what his roles are as a man and as a husband and as a father in the home. That defines every other thing. If you know you are the father, meaning source and sustainer, then you know that you will have to work on yourself as a man to husband your wife and to father your children beyond provision for education, clothing, housing, to spirituality, teaching them the word of God. As a man, to build a successful family, you are the pastor of your house. You teach and pray for your family and pray with your family and teach them what God's word says.
Welcome back. Now, before we went on the break, Henry was hot, trying to tell us because he had not landed.
Please,
wanted
I'm
to tell
cool.
us-
I'm not hot.
You're hot. You're better off hot than cold.
No, I'm cool.
You want to be lukewarm.
No, not look. I said cool. I'm cool
Oh,
like
He's
that.
cool.
Better.
He's obviously
I'm
he's
cool.
cool.
Anyway, Henry was on the topic of, or in the process of telling us about how the society reacts to young kids these days with all the things that they do and with little or no reprimanding and all that. Yeah. We'll get to that. But, for me, it's difficult to talk about society. For me, it's really important to talk about society, not talk about family. Because everything you see in society right now stems from family. If we get it right at that level, which is the foundational point, then every other thing becomes beautiful. If we do not, then we'll be treating symptoms. So I try not to treat symptoms. I'd like for us to go deep to the roots so that whatever we're doing, we know, okay, not just complain about how society is, but we are able to do something step by step that will eventually create the kind of society that we want. All right, that's why we did not talk about society, but we're talking about family, because that is where it all starts from.
And that's why this program is your best show to watch
Yeah.
every time.
So
we
real.
may not have all the answers,
Yeah.
okay, but we sure can direct you to where you get all the answers.
Hallelujah.
Because the family, we cannot sit by and fold our arms and allow the family to be eroded by so many what would you call it now? Vices.
Distractions.
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 Exactly.
There are
Yeah,
distractions.
You know, so that's
But
why
we'll
men's
get
boot
there.
is
We
important.
have one of the questions that I have in mind, which we'll get to shortly, would address that part of the distractions. But you see, talking about ethics, I think we really talked about ethics long enough, and my take home from it is the ethical points that must be held on to create a successful family. Talk about truth. Truth is very, very
all
important.
the moral codes.
Yes, kindness. You ought to be kind. Being loving, you have to be loving. Then respect for authority, respect in the home, respect for one another.
Tolerance.
Yeah, it comes with respect.
Tolerance, patience,
You need to do
long
that.
suffering,
Then there's something where
compassionate, all those things.
they all
very,
come.
very-
When you get this four that we talked about now, you find that every other thing you're mentioning,
fall in
yes,
place, right?
Yeah, they fall in place. They just fill in the gaps naturally.
Interesting.
Now there was something you both were arguing about at the point teaching, when he talked about teaching from example, and he thought you were talking about teaching like in a class, kind of scenario. That leadership in a family That's one of the reasons why a man needs to really stand up right, with clear purpose. Because the way you stand and the way you walk as the man of the house, as the father of the house,
It's
right,
being watched.
is being watched. That was what both of you were saying from different
Yeah,
points.
a
It's
child
being watched
is, a
from
child's
child.
behavior is modeled around
Yes.
his
I'll,
father.
I'll give a simple example. There are certain songs that you play in the house. In my house, my little boy, he's 3 years old. He will stand up and raise his hands up and just start worshiping.
Oh.
Why? Because when those kind of songs are played, what he sees daddy and mommy do
Is
that they
raise
stand up and
hands
they're
and
they're
start
worshiping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? We never told him to stand up to worship. We've not gotten him to the point where we were explaining to him what worship is. But by looking at us, he's able to tell what worship
By
is.
following after
By
mommy and
following
daddy.
after, very simply. Now, if you give him a biscuit, a wrap of biscuit, and he opens it up, when he's done with the biscuit, he looks around looking for the bin to put the wrap into. Now, when he doesn't find it, he walks up to either mommy, me, or the help, and he gives it over to the person. He would not drop it on the floor.
Yeah.
Why? Because he has noticed that when we
He
eat
knows the
anything, we
rules.
don't drop on the floor.
Yeah.
So when you tell a child, be careful what you do, I think the better thing to do is be careful what we do, because they are not trying to create their own shoes. They are walking in our shoes. So what we really need to concern ourselves on is to have good shoes so that our kids would walk in
on
it.
that shoe.
So you don't have battered shoes and complain that your kids are using battered shoes. You created that shoe. So as a father, as a parent, you have to be mindful that you're not living for one person. You are living for a whole nation, for a whole generation. So you must have the love, you must have truth, you must have patience, like you said, you must care, and you must have respect for authority. If they see the people you respect, they in turn will respect. If they see that you come out and you greet everyone, when they come out, they would greet. Whatever they see you do, it's difficult, it's confusing from my experience, where a father says, can you not greet? But he noticed that when the person came into the house, you did not greet. Then you're saying, didn't you see this person? Can you not greet? He's following your lead. But when he sees that you respectfully greeted someone, as in no-brainer, that child also would respectfully greet the person. So it's something that I think we need to really think about. Now, going about what you were saying earlier, I'll bring up the question quicker, even though I want to talk about it much later. When a father or a man, as it were, allows social media or TV or the house help to raise their child, what do you think is the result of that?
That's dangerous. It's catastrophical, and it can lead to the worst thing you can think of.
Would you say that is what we're experiencing right now in society?
To an extent.
To an
Yes,
extent.
to a huge extent.
To a huge extent, right?
Yes.
Tommy,
yes.
what do you think?
Yes.
What?
To a huge extent.
See, if you leave your responsibility to another as a man, it's like a time bomb waiting to explode. You know, it's going to take time to explode actually, but when it does, the ripple effect it will have, even the man would not be able to fathom it. You know, it's appalling the way we leave our responsibilities, or men leave their responsibilities.
Okay. Even though I totally agree with you, but something that crossed my mind when you were talking, because it looks like we're pointing the gun at the man now. How can you do this? How can you do? How can you do that? The question I think we should ask, if we really want to help, is why do you think they leave their responsibility to TV, social media, and the house help? Is there a why? I'm not even saying whether it's justifiable now, the why. But is there a why? What are those whys?
What are those whys?
Of course,
what are those whys? In today's world,
for me, some of the reasons I can quickly jog my mind to is one, it's as though a lot of families or a lot of parents, to be precise, are more interested in making money. That's one.
I was going to say that.
That's one. Yes, they are more interested, or yes, they are more interested in making money, and they forget that duty that they have at home.
That's not fair, Harry.
But that's the truth.
Would you call it forget? I wouldn't call it forget. In fairness, I wouldn't call it forget.
So what would you use? What word would you use?
Well, maybe wrongly prioritized. It's not like they
Okay.
forget.
Yeah.
But you see, they're thinking.
Okay, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
wrong
For better
prioritize.
word, right?
Yeah,
Because
Prioritize.
laying more emphasis on making that money.
Yeah, because they
than
think that is the fuel.
raising
No, I use the word,
the
though I use the
home.
word forget loosely. Do you understand? I use the word forget loosely because if something is paramount in your mind, there is nowhere you go to. That thing is still paramount.
Okay.
Paramount means is first in your mind.
Yeah.
So you're making money, but you know that Junior is at home. Do you understand? You're trying to be the best father or mother that you can be
Tommy,
to your child.
Let me throw this to you. Sorry, let me throw this to you now with what Henry said, because Henry is still playing, still pointing the gun at the man. I'm hoping that you wouldn't.
I said a father or a mother.
No.
I'm
I'm
not
getting still
pointing at
parents.
the
No,
man.
let me explain to
It's
what
parents. Parents
Tommy,
consist of
have
man
you
and
ever
woman.
been around a kid? Let's assume this is not your scenario, but let's allow you play that role. So you are with your son, and your son needs to pay school fees.
Yeah.
And it's time to pay, like, his school fees season right now for a lot of us. Then they send you the bill for school fees, and you do not have enough money to pay the school fees.
Yes.
Describe that feeling. If you can.
What? It's disappointing.
Right?
Very disappointing.
Now, if it happens to you once,
yes.
would you want it to happen to you next term or next semester?
Definitely, you wouldn't even want it to repeat
What is the
itself.
antidote for that? To get more money, right?
Plan.
You plan.
Plan.
Let me hear more of that.
Plan.
Go on. Let's
You
hear.
don't say you need to now work. You plan.
Let him finish. Yes,
You
go on.
you have a responsibility to take care of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife and then your son, if it is just one.
Let's start with his
just
son.
a child.
Yeah,
a son. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
That is why you knew you were going to pay even before you. Yes, you knew that before you have the idea that you want to have kids with your wife. You already have it in mind that I'm going to have to pay school fees and all that. You are ready for that. You should be ready for it. You are supposed to be ready for that. You know, and then probably, as you said, maybe the first time you were caught unawares. Yeah, you were caught unawares, and then maybe your wife helps in doing that. You should know as the man that, okay, before the next time, what do I need to do so that this does not repeat itself again?
I'll say something that I saw on social media not too long ago by a renowned footballer. I can mention his name. Ronaldo was saying on social media that he regretted those times, those moments
I saw
he
it too.
couldn't spend with his children. Ronaldo makes crazy amounts of money. He's one of the highest paid footballers, athletes, if you may.
Correct.
So he can, at the snap of his finger, do anything. He can afford to have 10 maids for his son or for his daughter. But listen to what is coming out of his mouth. He said those are the things that he regrets. What does that tell you? When you play with those years that you're supposed to, those times you're supposed to spend with your child, you can't gain them back. Do you understand? They are transient, meaning when they go, they're gone.
Yes.
You can't get them back. So, like you rightly said, I love your response when he asked you that question. You said I think I was thinking about you think of money, but when you came out and said you plan, that's just, of course, that is what you do. You plan because you knew that was going to come anyways. So don't try to use that as an excuse. It's like emotionally blackmailing your child that please, I don't have time now. You don't have to make money to pay your school fees. Brother, you will make money, you will pay the school fees. You will do both of them.
You can.
So we didn't want to just wrap up this episode making the man feel like we're coming here to point out his faults, because we are also men ourselves, and we're family men, we're leaders in our own family, right? So we wanted to help show what you can do to remedy the scenario, the situation, which is planning. That's just one singular thing that you take out of this. Planning. With proper planning, you are able to provide for your family in terms of financially. Then you are also able to provide for your family in terms of directive, in terms of personal care, in terms of leadership, in terms of mentorship. You're able to spend time with your family, with your son, with your daughter, with your wife, and you do all that. You're giving them emotionally all you're supposed to give to them, and you're also giving to them financially all you're supposed to give to them. Hence, a balanced and successful family. We're going to come more with more topics like this in the next episode, but my producer just signaled to me now that for this one, we have to close. I know you're enjoying yourself because I was equally enjoying myself. You know, it's never a dull moment with these two guys together, right? But at this point, we'll have to say goodbye for this episode. We'll come your way again in the next episode. Thank you. So, one word, let's allow them to say goodbye to you.
Well, as we have rightly said from the onset, as a man, you need to plan and instill those moral values into your family, because that's the only way we can have a balanced society.
Yeah, and I'll say your family is your number one team. Don't let them down. Pray with them, counsel with them, and inspire them to do better. And don't leave them to social media. Please, don't leave them to their phones. Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That will be all for this episode. See you again for the next episode. Bye.